In the shadows of New Jersey's thriving cities, a hidden crisis is spiraling out of control. Homeless families sleep in cars parked on quiet suburban streets. Veterans, once celebrated, now battle PTSD under freeway overpasses. Children huddle in tents, clutching flashlights to finish homework. This isn't a third-world tragedy. It's New Jersey in 2025. The homeless population has exploded, revealing the brutal cost of neglect, inequality, and failed policies. How did it get this bad? And what happens if no one steps up to fix it? Welcome to Globe Path Travel Documentary, where we uncover stories that matter. In 2025, the homelessness crisis in New Jersey has reached devastating heights. Behind the bustling streets and suburban neighborhoods lies a hidden epidemic, homelessness exploding to levels never seen before. From cities like Newark to Trenton, tents and makeshift shelters now dominate public spaces, revealing the darker side of prosperity in the Garden State. This is New Jersey in 2025, where progress leaves many behind and survival becomes the daily reality for thousands living conditions. The brutal reality of survival. For New Jersey's homeless population, survival is an unyielding struggle against the forces of nature, society, and circumstance. Each day presents new challenges, finding food, shelter, and safety, all within a world that often seems indifferent to their plight. This chapter paints an unflinching picture of life for the homeless in New Jersey, where resilience is forged in the crucible of despair. Public spaces, the thin line between shelter and exposure. In the absence of proper housing, homeless individuals often seek refuge in public spaces. Bus stops, train stations, and parks serve as temporary sanctuaries, but they are far from safe or comfortable. These spaces offer only minimal protection from the elements, with harsh winters and blistering summers taking a devastating toll. During freezing nights, people huddle beneath bridges or occupy abandoned buildings, using scraps of clothing, blankets, or cardboard boxes in a futile attempt to stay warm. For others, public benches or stairwells become their only option, leaving them exposed to both the weather and the judgmental stares of passers-by families. Living in cars, a modern-day shelter. For homeless families, cars have become makeshift homes, offering a semblance of privacy and security amidst chaos. Parents transform their vehicles into fragile ecosystems, where children sleep in cramped back seats, surrounded by piles of belongings. School-aged kids attempt to study using the dim glow of interior lights, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy that the streets cannot provide. But even in cars, their safety is far from guaranteed. Fuel costs, vehicle breakdowns, and the constant risk of being towed or ticketed hang over these families, making stability impossible. Constant hunger and the search for food. Hunger is a relentless companion for New Jersey's homeless. Many scour dumpsters behind restaurants or grocery stores, hoping to find discarded food that's still edible. Soup kitchens and food banks provide occasional relief, but they are often overcrowded or inaccessible due to transportation challenges. Parents sacrifice their meals to ensure their children can eat, all while enduring the gnawing pain of hunger themselves. The sheer effort required to find food is exhausting, further draining the energy needed to navigate their circumstances. The ever-present threat of violence. The streets of New Jersey are not just a place of survival, they are a place of danger. Homeless individuals face constant threats of violence, theft, and exploitation. Fights over scarce resources break out frequently, with vulnerable individuals becoming easy targets. Women, in particular, face heightened risks, living in fear of assault or abuse. Children grow up in this environment, their innocence shattered by the harsh realities of life on the streets. Even in shelters, overcrowding can lead to tension and conflict. leaving many feeling unsafe. The emotional toll, isolation, and despair. Beyond the physical challenges, the emotional toll of homelessness is immense. Feelings of invisibility, rejection, and hopelessness permeate the lives of those on the streets. Many experience profound isolation, believing that society has turned its back on them. Depression and anxiety are rampant, as individuals struggle to find even a glimmer of hope. For families, the strain of homelessness often tears relationships apart, leaving individuals more isolated than ever. Human resilience, fighting against overwhelming odds. Yet amidst these brutal conditions, stories of human resilience shine through. Parents find ways to protect their children from the harshest realities, teaching them to hope even when their circumstances seem hopeless. Individuals form communities, banding together for mutual support and safety. Their ability to endure, adapt, and fight for survival in the face of overwhelming odds speaks to a strength that deserves recognition and action. Mental health and addiction. The silent struggle. Mental health challenges and addiction have become an invisible epidemic, deeply enmeshed within the homelessness crisis in New Jersey. The mental and emotional toll of living on the streets is immense, and for many, the trauma begins long before they lose their homes. This chapter examines the complex interplay between mental health struggles, substance abuse, and homelessness, shedding light on a cycle that traps thousands in despair. Mental health crises, a catalyst and consequence. For a vast majority of New Jersey's homeless, mental health struggles are both a cause and a consequence of their situation. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety disorders, and chronic depression are common. Many individuals have faced harrowing life events, domestic violence, the loss of loved ones, unemployment, or financial ruin that led to the deterioration of their mental health. The trauma of becoming homeless only deepens these wounds, creating a relentless cycle of emotional suffering. Living on the streets exacerbates existing conditions. Individuals experiencing homelessness endure constant stress, stemming from physical insecurity, hunger, and social rejection. The lack of stability and safety amplifies feelings of helplessness, making recovery seem impossible. Without access to proper care and support, their conditions often go untreated, leading to further instability. Addiction as a desperate escape. Substance abuse is another pervasive issue that grips New Jersey's homeless population. Addiction often begins as a coping mechanism, a way to numb the pain of trauma, loneliness, and the relentless challenges of life on the streets. Drugs and alcohol may provide temporary relief, but they ultimately deepen the struggles of those already at their lowest point. The state's opioid epidemic has added fuel to the fire. Highly addictive substances like fentanyl and heroin have become dangerously accessible, trapping individuals in cycles of dependency. Overdoses are tragically common, often claiming the lives of people who might have turned things around with timely intervention. Addiction not only impairs their physical and mental health, but also acts as a significant barrier to securing employment, housing, or social services. Barriers to treatment. Despite the pressing need for mental health and addiction support, access to treatment in New Jersey is alarmingly limited. Rehabilitation centers are often underfunded and overwhelmed, with waiting lists stretching for months, time that many cannot afford to lose. Mental health clinics face similar issues, with insufficient resources to address the growing demand for care. Furthermore, systemic barriers make it difficult for homeless individuals to access the services that do exist. Many lack identification, insurance, or transportation, effectively shutting them out of the system. Without the means to navigate the complex healthcare network, those in need are often left to fend for themselves. A vicious cycle. Mental health struggles and addiction feed into one another, forming a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. Substance abuse worsens mental health conditions, while untreated mental illnesses increase the likelihood of reliance on drugs or alcohol. This destructive cycle keeps many individuals trapped in a state of homelessness, unable to move forward or find stability. The ripple effect on communities. The impact of these silent struggles extends beyond the individual, affecting families and communities. Children growing up in environments marked by addiction and mental illness face immense emotional and psychological challenges, often carrying these scars into adulthood. Communities bear the burden of increased healthcare costs, overcrowded shelters, and the strain on emergency services. Breaking the cycle. The need for compassionate reform. Addressing these silent struggles requires a multifaceted approach. New Jersey must invest in accessible and affordable mental health care, expand addiction rehabilitation programs, and remove the systemic barriers that prevent individuals from seeking help. Outreach programs must be strengthened to bring services directly to those living on the streets, ensuring no one is left behind. Perhaps most importantly, the state must prioritize compassion and understanding in its policies. People experiencing homelessness are not just statistics. They are individuals with stories, hopes, and potential. By addressing the root causes of mental health challenges and addiction, New Jersey can take meaningful steps toward breaking this cycle and giving thousands the chance to rebuild their lives. The rise of homelessness in New Jersey, a state known for its thriving economy and picturesque neighborhoods, now faces a stark and sobering reality. Homelessness is on the rise, driven by forces that highlight the sharp divide between prosperity and despair. The Garden State has become an unintended battleground for economic inequality, where the gap between the wealthy and the struggling grows wider by the day. Soaring housing costs and economic pressures. The skyrocketing cost of housing in New Jersey is one of the most significant contributors to the homelessness crisis. Cities like Newark, Jersey City, and Trenton have seen unprecedented rent hikes over the past decade. Even suburban areas, once a refuge for middle-class families, have become unaffordable for many. Stagnant wages and the erosion of traditional manufacturing and blue-collar jobs have left countless residents unable to keep up with mounting expenses. What was once a manageable situation has turned into a desperate struggle for survival, with families teetering on the edge of homelessness. The impact of gentrification. Gentrification in urban areas has displaced long-standing communities, forcing residents to leave the neighborhoods they've called home for generations. Luxury condominiums and high-end developments have replaced affordable housing, catering to wealthier newcomers while ignoring the needs of existing residents. The result is a cycle of displacement, where families and individuals are pushed to the margins, unable to find affordable housing nearby. In rural areas, the situation is no better, as poverty spreads and opportunities diminish, creating a dual crisis of displacement and destitution, from full-time workers to the unhoused. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of New Jersey's homelessness crisis is the rise of the working homeless. These are individuals holding full-time jobs, often multiple jobs, yet still unable to afford basic necessities like housing, food, and healthcare. Teachers, janitors, retail workers, and even healthcare aides are among those living paycheck to paycheck, with little left to cover emergency expenses. When faced with unexpected events like a medical bill or car repair, many are quickly plunged into homelessness. A new normal. Homelessness in New Jersey is no longer confined to urban streets. It has become a widespread issue affecting diverse demographics, from families and veterans to seniors and young professionals. Cars, motels, and overcrowded shelters have replaced traditional housing for many, while others find themselves living in tent encampments. This normalization of homelessness reflects a systemic failure to address its root causes and highlights the urgent need for intervention. Policy failures. A broken system. The homelessness crisis in New Jersey reveals a long history of systemic failures where policies meant to alleviate suffering have fallen disastrously short. Despite the growing urgency of the issue, the policies and programs aimed at addressing homelessness have been riddled with inefficiencies, underfunding, and a lack of vision. These failures have left thousands of New Jersey residents in the shadows with no clear path to stability. Affordable housing initiatives. A dead end. One of the primary causes of homelessness in New Jersey is the chronic shortage of affordable housing. While government officials have announced multiple initiatives over the years to tackle this issue, progress has been painstakingly slow. Local opposition has stalled low-income housing projects in many communities, often citing concerns about property values or neighborhood character. Meanwhile, state funding for affordable housing programs has been inconsistent, leaving many plans incomplete or abandoned altogether. The zoning laws in New Jersey further exacerbate the problem. Restrictive zoning regulations and "not in my backyard" (NIMBY) attitudes have limited the development of multifamily housing units in suburban and urban areas. This has created a bottleneck in affordable housing availability, with demand vastly outstripping supply. Unheard stories. The human toll of neglect. Behind every headline statistic or policy failure lies the deeply personal and often heartbreaking stories of those experiencing homelessness. These stories cut through the noise, offering an unfiltered glimpse into the human cost of societal neglect. In New Jersey, these tales paint a vivid picture of resilience and despair, each one a reflection of a system that has left countless individuals behind. Sarah's fight to protect her family. Sarah, a single mother of 3, once lived a stable life in a modest apartment. She worked long hours at a local grocery store, ensuring her children had food on the table and a safe place to call home. But when her rent doubled within a year, Sarah found herself unable to keep up, despite her tireless efforts. Evicted with nowhere to turn, she now moves between shelters, struggling to provide even the basics for her family. Her children, once carefree, now grapple with the trauma of instability, asking questions she cannot answer. Sarah's story is a stark reminder that the housing crisis touches even those who work relentlessly to create better lives. John's battle with PTSD and homelessness. John, a veteran, once dedicated his life to serving his country. After returning home, he found himself in a battle of a different kind. PTSD, compounded by a lack of consistent mental health care. Job instability followed, and eventually he was left with no other option but the streets. Now, John sleeps in train stations, searching for warmth and safety in places that offer neither. His nights are filled with the haunting memories of his service, while his days are spent navigating the challenges of survival. John's story reveals the devastating consequences of neglecting those who have sacrificed so much. Amy's struggle to keep dreaming. At just 17 years old, Amy has dreams of becoming an engineer, but homelessness threatens to derail her future. Her family, unable to afford rent after losing their home, now lives in their car. Each night, Amy uses a flashlight to complete her homework, determined not to let her circumstances define her. But exhaustion, hunger, and the strain of constant uncertainty weigh heavily on her. Her teachers and classmates are unaware of her struggles, while her ambitions hang by a thread. Amy's story highlights the unique challenges faced by homeless youth who fight to hold on to hope in environments that stifle it, a reflection of systemic neglect. These stories are not isolated. They are representative of a much larger crisis. Each person carries with them a lifetime of experiences, dreams, and potential. Yet societal failures reduce them to mere statistics. The human toll of homelessness in New Jersey is incalculable, affecting families, veterans, and youth across the state. Their voices call for action, not just from policymakers, but from communities, businesses, and individuals who have the power to drive change. Beyond numbers and headlines, these stories remind us of the profound urgency to address homelessness, not as a distant issue, but as a shared responsibility. Thank you for watching Globe Path Travel Documentary. The stories we uncover are just the beginning of the change we can inspire together. If this documentary moved you, don't let it end here. Help us amplify these voices and raise awareness by subscribing to our channel. Your support allows us to continue exploring the untold stories that need to be heard. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with others who care about making a difference. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. Together, we can shine a light on the issues that matter most.